Hi, good evening. This is Maiden, your friendly commentator and speaker, and I would like to welcome you to my channel. Why, oh, why? You owe yourself. And why do you owe yourself? Why does one owe oneself? That's what we're going to discuss. This channel is a discussion and commentary channel of any relevant matter under the sun, um, life in general, and humanity. Today's topic is, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. Like I said, I am Maiden, and I am a dual citizen of New Zealand and the Philippines, which is like all the rest of the people who are actively online and making videos. I am too concerned as well, and I would like to give my humble contribution to the society, um, however possible I could. And today, March 20, 2020, Friday, I'm recording at Auckland, New Zealand for this topic that if ever I would not be able to comprise them compactly in 30 minutes, I would be making a series of videos or a follow-up video about this on the remaining topics. And yes, if you may, please place your comments, feedback, or even like, share, and subscribe my channel. So, the topics I would like to be discussing will be um, how and the reason of why we should pay attention, serious attention, and getting updated of about the information of what's going on, especially of COVID-19, and why it should come from only the most credible and reliable sources, and then debunking the myths of COVID-19, um, the issue of correct pronunciation of the word virus. Um, what else? Comparison on the different, shall we say, um, success level of the different implementations of the many countries now. How many percent have they been successful in achieving in their combat against COVID-19? And then how and what can we do on the micro up to the macro level? But if I may say first, my goal, um, like I said, it's not only because I want to humbly share my contribution, but I can see that the key and the greatest, the key which is also has the greatest impact for the success of a country and the whole world in general, for us to succeed in getting through this pandemic, is behavior. Behavior. Um, from the micro level to the macro level, and then from behavior scatters out into sharing. So that's the goal. I want to implore not just the urgency, but the understanding of us, mankind, to change in our behavior. But how can we do that? Well, it's very easy when we have already learned and accepted and become aware. So that's the goal. I hope that my um, words can really like penetrate the minds and the hearts of especially the people in who have the most influence right now in the communities and countries because this is really a serious matter. So first, let's go to our first discussion of the topic. Um, yeah, the reason why we have to pay attention, we have to start first on getting our information. We always have to be updated. We must care. We shouldn't take this lightly. I know, I know that government and yeah, people in the who are in that's shall we say those in the organization um doesn't want to cause panic. There is a way for to informing the public without having without causing them to panic. It's all about really making sure that you disseminate the information in the best possible way. It can communicate on the level of the public that is not kind of like like in reporting in the media, but somehow it has to be simple and easily understandable and with systematic maybe instructions. If it's not complete, you can always update it and just always put um, subject to always change. Um, just always have to check on the website or whatever. It's all just communication. But please, for the public, stop uh, paying attention to the many social media stuff or articles in the news that are not really from the most credible. You have to learn which are the credible um, organizations that publish information. You also have to use your common sense. You can't just believe whatever you see and hear. Okay? It's your obligation to yourself to keep informed, update your information, rely only on credible sources, identify them, and also the government, you have to address informing the public what organizations only they should really listen or take heed of any information or communication. Like for example, you tell them straight up, if it's not from the Ministry of Health or whatever, then not whatever, but from the ministry itself or the Department of Health of the government, then they should not take it seriously. So that's one way, paying attention and getting the information from credible sources. Then in debunking the myths, that's also one way. Through communication, you will be able to debunk myths and misinformation. You'll be able to stop. The reason why some people in the community don't cooperate because we are not speaking their language. We have to be able to speak their language. And at the same time, in speaking their language, we have to enumerate what are those misinformation already spreading around. and then providing them with the correct information. And it should not be once, it should be continuous. It should always be like every day as well, and updating. And like for example, there's been in the Philippines, there was an issue, not really an issue, but to those people who are educated, they don't really mind at all. But in some people, they make it a big deal about the correct pronunciation of the word virus, when in fact it's it's a Latin word. I mean, virus is an English word, but the origin is Latin. And since in Latin, um, I I found out from um, a source. It's a YouTube video, visual Latin, um, by Dwayne Thomas. Some 6 years ago, it was uploaded there. Um, it's a visual Latin curriculum. He talked about um, the alphabet, the Latin alphabet, so and how the letters are pronounced. Um, V is not pronounced as V, but W. So it's actually pronounced, the word virus, it's actually pronounced as virus, virus. And it so happens, since I worked before in Japan, when they uh, talk about, or they speak about, or they indicate virus, they call it virus, because they, in Japan, foreign words are spoken in their original pronunciation. So if the way they say, if you hear them say a French word, how they say it, even in a Japanese tongue, you are actually closest to the truth. It's how it's spoken in French. If you hear a French word they're speaking in French, it's how they're actually speaking. The French people are speaking in their native tongue. So this the same with the virus in Latin. Japanese call them virus because they always have a vowel in the end. So I hope that straightens out that issue. Now, in the shall we say, situation in both my countries, Philippines and New Zealand, because um, right now here in New Zealand, it has been, yeah, yesterday, um, the Prime Minister already ordered um, the closing of the borders, so no one can get in. Only the citizens who are being rescued from outside. So, um, in the Philippines, in other countries, they've already been locked down, but compared to other countries, it's still very low. There are only, I think, 28 today in the whole New Zealand, and 5 positively infected has been confirmed positive of COVID-19, and 5 of them are in Auckland. While in the Philippines, I think it's 217 now confirmed cases. But come to think of it, if we do not really take the quarantine, or the control, the border control, or border shutdown or closure, if we don't really take it seriously, because that's what happened in Italy. In just a matter of 2 weeks, and they exceeded the numbers of infected people inside their country, the those who had been suspected and those who turned out to be positive, and the number of deaths in only 2 weeks. They have exceeded the number of fatality, infected people, and fatality. They exceeded the numbers from China because they have had a hard time getting the cooperation of their citizens, and 2 weeks had cost them really, you know, a huge, sad experience. We don't want that to happen anywhere to anyone. But then it's all up to us to really cooperate and work together and help the government in containing this. So I'm really concerned about the behavior, and also in the Philippines. I know the majority are behaving well. They are really obeying the law, cooperating with with what the government is trying to do, even if it's so difficult. But then all of us are in difficulty. All of us really are in a hard time. But then please cooperate. And yeah, so far that's all I am after saying and trying to communicate. I want to compare the current situation here in New Zealand and in the Philippines. My only, well, I have a complaint here in New Zealand. They are not yet um, they are not yet locking down the schools, especially for the the kids, and primary school kids and high school. While in the Philippines, um, they really took it seriously. Just because the infection here is too low, it doesn't mean the threat is not something to take seriously. That's all I'm saying. So if ever there are New Zealand officials who could watch my video, who could hear me and see me today, please lock down the schools. We don't want to be complacent. Like, I know it's scary. We don't want to get that fear to creep inside of us, but we just want to be really prepared, and as much as possible um, we have like prepared early. We have sought whatever we could to prevent, especially the chances of the kids contracting that. Not because if we keep them at home and we all go out to work, it doesn't mean that they are safe. They may not be 100% safe, but they are a lot safer because they are not outside. The chances of them getting infected when they are outside is higher than being inside the premises of the the home. I don't get the point why New Zealand is like, because that's what has happened, that mindset in Italy, that because they say, oh, it's too far away, they still try to live the normal life. They know, they accept what is going on, they are aware that it's a pandemic. They just couldn't believe that it can creep into their country, their community, into their homes that quick. 2 weeks. Actually, in the last 5 days, the it's like the the plummeting of, you know, the number of infection, how it plummeted is exponential. I'm not saying that, you know, we're gonna get paranoid, but then as a mother, and because my son has colds and cough now, I was told, uh, I rang yesterday. He had that dry cough already. It was just developing. I rang the GP, the clinic, and I was told because the appointment is it's fully booked until Monday. So unless he has fever, but he doesn't have fever, but I was told to keep him at home and watch out for fever. If he gets to have fever, that I have to take him even to the emergency. So I began contemplating and wondering. Um, I have this timer, like I said, I wanted to be, because I wanted my video to be in 30 minutes, and now it's 27 minutes. So, like I said, um, if ever I will not be able to um, put this all together to discuss the topics in this video in 30 minutes, I will have to make another video as a follow-up, or maybe a series of videos. So yeah, my message really right now, yeah, for the New Zealand Ministry of Health, please, if you may, as soon as possible, as early as we could, um, please just lock down the schools for now. I mean, it's all temporary, I know. So why not do it as early as possible for the kids? I'm scared for my son. And I mean, reading the articles, how it ballooned, how the numbers of fatality um, in Italy. I got scared. So let's not be complacent. That's what I mean. And yeah, our behavior, please. Let's be objective. Let's all cooperate. To the Philippines, yeah, keep cooperating. Just, um, we we can get through it. I mean, my mother is there, my siblings, my relatives, family there. I can feel, I can relate. I mean, not just me, all of us. This is a pandemic. We have to work together. Whether we like it or not, we have to tighten our belts and help each other and be prepared. And please, when we plan our contingency plans for those in the government, use the technology to always be connected and coordinated with your efforts. So yeah, right now um, I have to cut this short now and just see you in the next video. So um, if you may, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even place your comments or even feedback regarding my topic. And yeah, under this video for this channel. And I'll see you again in the future discussion, future videos. Yeah, this is your friendly neighborhood commentator, speaker, Maiden, for the channel YOY. You owe yourself. Yeah, let's all keep safe, cooperate, be proactive. Let's all have our faith in God and each other. And yeah, God keep and bless us all in this earth. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.